I'm the deputy chairman of the state of Illinois Black Panther Party, Fred Hampton. We work with anybody and form coalition with anybody that has revolution on their mind. We might not be back. I might be in jail. I might be anywhere. But when I leave, you can remember I said with the last words on my lips that I am a revolutionary. And you're going to have to keep on saying that. You're going to have to say that I am a proletarian. I am the people. I'm not the pig. You've got to make a distinction. And the people are going to have to attack the pigs. The people are going to have to stand up against the pigs. That's what the Panthers are doing. That's what the Panthers are doing all over the world. We're not a racist organization because we understand that racism is an excuse used for capitalism. And we know that racism is just, it's a byproduct of capitalism. If we don't hate the motherfucking white people, we hate the oppressor, whether he be white, black, brown, or yellow. We're going to fight racism, not with racism, but we're going to fight with solidarity. We said we're not going to fight capitalism with black capitalism, but we're going to fight it with socialism. Everything would be all right if everything was put back in the hands of the people. And we're going to have to put it back in the hands of the people. And these people in this class have divided themselves. They say, I'm black, and I hate white people. I'm white, and I hate black people. I'm Latin American, and I hate hillbillies. I'm hillbilly, and I hate Indians. So we're fighting amongst each other. Nothing's more important than stopping fascism, because fascism will stop us all. That's the people's thing. Socialism is the people. You're afraid of yourself. If you're afraid of socialism, you're afraid of yourself. With no education, you have neo-colonialism instead of colonialism. What we're talking about is there has to be an educational program. That's very important, because if they don't have an education, then they're nowhere. You dig what I'm saying? They're nowhere because they don't even know why they're doing what they're doing. You understand me? You might get them caught up in because they're poor and they want something. And then if they're not educated, they want more, and before you know it, they'll be capitalists, and before you know it, we have Negro imperialists. Me, myself, you know, I was born in a so-called bourgeois community and had some of the better things you could say in life. And I found that there were more people starving than there was people eating. And I found that more people didn't have clothes than they did have clothes. And I found that I just happened to be one of the few. And I made a commitment to myself that I wouldn't stop doing what I'm doing until all those people are free. You got black Easter, you got black Christmas, you got black brown all day, you got black April Fool, ain't here toward nobody but black businessmen. And I say that anybody that comes into our community and sets up any type of situation that does not meet the needs of the masses, then I, Chairman President of the Black Panther Party, says that I catch that nigga by his collar neck and beat him to death with a Black Panther paper. We not doing it. We're going to stay right here with the people. We're going to have to move, and we got to move fast, we got to move hard, and we're going to have to move organized. You can jail revolutionaries, but you can't jail a revolution. Right. We need some guns. Black people need some peace. White people need some peace. And we are going to have to fight. We're going to have to struggle. We're going to have to struggle relentlessly to bring about some peace, because the people that we're asking for peace, they're a bunch of megalomaniac warmongers, and they don't even understand what peace means. And we've got to fight them. We've got to struggle with them to make them understand what peace means. Like we always did, if you ask to make a commitment at the age of 20, and you say, I don't want to make that commitment, only because for the simple reason that I'm too young to die, I want to live a little bit longer, what you did already. I'm saying something that might wake up some other exploited people and some other oppressed people. And if all these people ever get together, then these pigs that are exploiting us, we'll be able to run them into the lake. That's why they want to get rid of us. I don't believe I'm going to die from splitting on a piece of ice. I don't believe I'm going to die because I got a bad heart. I don't believe I'm going to die because of lung cancer. I believe that I'm going to be able to die what I was in the thing that I was born for. I believe that I'm going to be able to die high off the people. I believe that I will be able to die as a revolutionary in the international revolutionary proletarian struggle. Why don't you live for the people? Why don't you struggle for the people? Why don't you die for the people? All we want to know is that you're doing what we'd be doing if we were here. And you got to do that. You can't do it unless you believe that you can do it. In the spirit of liberation, we understand that they want everybody in the party in jail. So the quick solution, the speedy one, nobody goes. Nobody goes. We all stay right here. With the people. Because we love the people. Okay, you can put your hands down now. We say all power to all people. We say white power to white people. Brown power to brown people. Yellow power to yellow people. Black power to black people. X power to those that we left out. We say Panther power to the Vanguard Party. Before you go to bed tonight, say I am a revolutionary. Make that the last word. Say that. That I am a revolutionary.
Ooh, girl. Hi, Sam. Hi, Sam. Welcome. How are you doing? Wait, can I? I can't. Okay. Okay. Hi. I'm I'm in a new location because the dining room is currently being used and I wanted to stream because it's already the second day of February, and even though like there is no such thing as Black History Month in Peru because I mean it's not like we shouldn't have one because we probably should since there are a lot of Afro-Peruvians, like black people are also brought here. uh Hide anonymously. Welcome. Sorry. Um but we don't have Black History Month here, so you know, I still wanted to not participate, but I just wanted to read I just wanted an excuse to read Fred Hampton's speeches. We are probably going to read one or two today. I am not sure how fast we will go through the first one. But yeah. Learning. Hi. Sorry. Also, I will use my glasses today because I cannot see. So, hi, Katalepsky. Welcome. So, what was I saying? So yeah, we're going to be reading, as the title says, you can murder a liberator, but you can't murder liberation. Oh yeah, I want to say that I want to read Fred Hampton because since watching Judas and the Black Messiah, like I watched Judas and the Black Messiah when I was starting to become um in the beginning of my tanky arc, more or less. And so watching that was really, how do I explain it? It really showed me uh it showed me how there was a history of communism in uh in the US mainly, how the the Marxist Leninist ideology actually brought like existed throughout the world, and it made changes. It inspired people to actually make change, and through that ideology they actually managed to make change. Also, it is fucked up that recently, like, apparently breakfast programs have been rolled back, which, why don't you want to feed children, but also of course the US doesn't want to feed children. Do you know what I mean? Like, is it surprising? No. um but this is an article someone sent me a couple of days ago, saying that Congress got rid of a free lunch for all program. That means some students are going hungry, and not even that. Apparently, people, like, the way the programs will work is that children who have been benefiting from the program will have debt. Like, children will have to pay for all the food that they already received. And I'm like, does this surprise me coming from the US? No. But also, it is kind of another level of what the fuck. Do you know what I mean? Like, what, like, so yeah, like, um, makes you think. Like, I am baffled how by how baffled I still get about the things that the US does. And it's honestly like, I have to give props to the US, because it's like, you think they're already doing like the worst things for their society, and they just keep, you know, crossing that line and going just further. And fun. And also, a couple of days ago, I was talking with Johnny from Subversive History, and he basically told me, like, yeah, you might only have 2 years as a communist, but also you are not white, you are not cis, you are not straight, and you are not from the US, so you are going to pick up everything faster. And I was like, and that kind of blew my mind a little, because, like, I knew I understood or managed to, like, grab a lot of the ideology and the ideas, like, quite fast, because I'm not white. but I just didn't make the connection of like how hard it is actually for like white people from the US, especially white cishet men, right? To actually understand, the world is like suffering and it is because of the US. And yeah, your country is kind of shit. Also, communism is not bad. Communism is actually good. And the USSR did great things, unlike what you have been indoctrinated under your entire life, And that kind of made me realize that, like, even though I don't have to tolerate white people's bullshit, at the same time, if I want to engage, I know that I will have to be way more tolerant and way more, like, I don't want to say compassionate because it's not compassion, but definitely be like, give them more grace. You know what I mean? But yeah. Also, yes, Stalin did nothing wrong. Look, it is funny because uh, like you all know that is just a bit, right? Like I have, like any other Marxist Leninist should, I have all my criticisms of Stalin as a person and as the chairman of the of the Soviet Union's Communist Party, right? Um, but I find it interesting when people with my same ideology are like scared to say that Stalin did nothing wrong because like normies will think that. And I have reached a point where I'm like, if you hear me say Stalin did nothing wrong and you really believe that, there is no saving you. Period. Like even like most times when I say Stalin did nothing wrong or Mao did nothing wrong, like I immediately backtrack and clarify that I'm joking. But like, if people, even when I backtrack and clarify that I'm not joking, still believe I'm a Stalin apologist, you know, I cannot do more for them. They already made their minds, or at least they are still too far into the propaganda. So, yeah, the girls who get it, get it. True, Hodega, yeah. They somehow keep being surprised. Truly, LFNF, like it is, it is something magical in the worst, like in the worst definition possible of magical. But yeah. Uh, but yeah, today I wanted to read you can murder a liberator, but you can't murder a liberation. You can murder, but you can't murder liberation. I will. There will be a lot of me not being able to words today because it's reading. But regardless, this is like when Daniel Kaluuya was delivering these speeches as Fred Hampton in Judas and the Black Messiah. Like, I don't know how to describe it because it was almost like a spiritual experience for me because it showed me that revolution is possible. You know? Like, of course it's possible. Like, look at China, look at Vietnam, look at Cuba, um, like, even Burkina Faso, the USSR, like, literally Russia, you know? But the US has such a huge impact culturally that anything that is not, at least for me, like literally South America or the US feels like so foreign. Like even Cuba, like it's not like even Cuba doesn't feel foreign, but Cuba like had such a different context than what we currently have. Than like seeing like actual organizing and um like shit being done in the US in the 60s was like mind blowing, you know? But yeah. Also, hi David, welcome. The title reminds me of Shay saying, "Shoot, you're the only one. You're only killing a man." I know that line. Yeah. Also, good morning. Yeah. Follow David. Yes. But yeah. Okay. Now you all know why I'm reading this, so I'm going to read it. Something else is that Fred Hampton's speeches. Okay, to be fair, every Black revolutionary speaker, like every Black revolutionary speech, will pump you up. Like I have literally never heard, like Huey, Angela Davis, Bell Hooks, Nkrumah, Toure speak and not be like filled with determination, filled with revolutionary optimism, and Fred Hampton was my first experience with that, so it has a very special place in my heart. And this is why I especially hate Ian for saying that he's more of a he's like he's more of a Fred Hampton Black nationalist or something, and I was like, I literally got triggered when he said when I watched that clip, and this is why I feel like white people shouldn't have Sankara as emotes because it's like I get it, you know, but also you don't get it, you know, like okay, yeah, parenti, you know, though he did give like the thing about the difference between like for example Toure and Parenti is that Parenti, like subversive history was like showing Parenti's speech, not a speech but like a conference he was giving, and he was like so over like liberals talking to him, like asking straight up nonsensical questions that I'm like that I was like he was literally like, girl, I'm literally a communist. Like, why are you asking me if capitalism bad? You know, shit like that. And whereas like Toure just says shit that shuts people up, and it's the funniest shit. But yeah, I get chills when I listen to them. It is truly an experience. I don't hear parents in Toure speak. And when white people with Mao, oh my god, don't even get me started with that. But yeah. Also, hi Kay, welcome. Uh, but yeah, and it's even. Oh yeah, I've always had this mic. You just never see it on screen. Also, I'm in my room now because the dining room is occupied right now, but yeah. uh yeah, it is weird when I think it is weird in general when people have like Mao profile pics, but it's like the default Mao picture. And it is even weirder to me when they have the Mao picture with their face or some white person's face over the face of Mao. And I'm like, is this racist? Like, you're putting a white person's face on top of an Asian man's face? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's racist necessarily, but it is weird. And yeah, it's like people are weird. People are wild. But yeah, it's my favorite subjectively because it reminds me of listening to my Italian muscle grandpa or uncles rant about shit, same cadence and expressions and everything. Oh, I feel that, David. I feel that. It like I know what you mean. all I'm going to say is that there was a time in my life where I watched a lot of um TV around Italian Americans. So I know what you mean. But yeah. I mean, you are not wrong, Tony. But yeah, like, I mean, fetishization of like non-white people. Um, I wouldn't even say across the board, not even just coming from white people. Of course, coming from white people is especially weird, but it is such a, I wouldn't say contradiction, but it's like so fucked up because at the same time they fetishize them to subjugate them. Basically, like they fetishize them because they see them as inferiors and basically objective. I mean, very. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say fetishization is inherently objectification, but there is definitely an, I wouldn't even say an undertone of objectification. It is straight up objectifying them most of the time. So, you know, but we're not going to unpack that today. Like, there is an FD signifier video about that, how the media objectifies or fetishizes black men, and but it's too long, and I haven't had like the mental capacity to be able to stream an hour-long video for a while, so soon. But yeah, okay. You can murder a liberator, but you can't murder liberation. Speech delivered April 27th, 1969 by Fred Hampton. Somewhere here it says, all power to the people. What we're basically going to be talking about today is what the pig is doing to the panthers all around the country. We're going to have to talk about what we are going to have to do about the repression that they are putting on the Black Panther Party. We are not worried about getting off it. Let's try to deal with it. The way this was given in 1969 and it still is so fucking relevant to this day, it's almost sad. Because I see so many people in, not only like in political spaces, but beyond the political, that instead of wanting to deal with shit, they just want to get off of it. Anarchist. And, you know, this just shows that the fight is still going. We got to talk first about we got to talk first of all about the main man. The main man in the Black Panther Party. The main man in the struggle today. In the United States, in Chicago, in Cuba, and anywhere else. The main man in the liberation struggle is our Minister of Defense. And yours too. Huey P. Newton. He's the main man because the head of the imperialist octopus lies right in this country, and whoever is dealing with the head of the octopus in this country is the main man. He's in jail now. We must tell the world that Huey P. Newton was tried by the pigs and they found him guilty. He was tried by the people who found him not guilty. He was tried by the people who found him not guilty. And we say let him go, let him free, because we find him not guilty. This is our relentless demand. We will not let up one day. We will not give up the struggle to liberate our Minister of Defense, Huey P. Newton, and we will continue to exert pressure on the power structure and constantly bombard them with the people's demand that Huey P. Newton be set free. Like, how you can read the conviction, like, also, oh, hi Johnny, welcome. It was Huey P. Newton who taught us how the people learn. You learn by participation. When Huey P. Newton started out, what did he do? He got a gun, and he got Bobby, and Bobby got a gun. They had a problem in the community because people was being run over. Kids were being run over at a certain intersection. What did the people do? The people went down to the government and redressed their grievances, and the government told them to go to hell. We're not going to put no stoplights down there until we see fit. And now, instead of, people driving children over, they just call the cops and let the cops kill them. Nothing has changed in the US. What did Huey P. Newton do? Did he go out and tell people about the laws and write letters and try to propagandize them all the time? No. Some of that's good. But the masses of the people don't read. That's what I heard Huey say. They learn through observation and participation. Did he just say this? No. So what did he do? He got his shotgun, he got Bobby, and he got him a hammer and went down to the corner. He gave Bobby the shotgun and told him if any pig motherfucker come by blow his motherfucking brains out. But also we would never promote any kind of violence in this Christian wholesome Twitch stream. We're just learning about what Fred Hampton said. Yes. Also, hi Jane, welcome. What did he do? He went to the corner and nailed up a stop sign. No more accidents, no more trouble. And then he went back, another situation like that. What the people do? They looked at it, they observed. They didn't get a chance to participate in it. Next time what they do, same kind of problem came up, the people got their shotguns, got their 9mm, got their hammers. How they learn? They learned by observation and participation. They learned one thing. When there is a fire, you gather around. When there is a fire, you gather around the fire. Huey got a gun. Huey got a shotgun, and everybody gathered around him and Bobby. They saw what was going on, and they had a chance to participate in it. As the vanguard leader, he taught the people about the power structure. He led the people down the correct road of revolution. What are we doing? Breakfast for children. Our Breakfast for Children program is feeding a lot of children, and the people understand our Breakfast for Children program. We're saying something like this. We're saying that theory is cool, but the theory with no practicing shit. You got to have both of them. The two go together. We have a theory about feeding kids free. What we do, we put it into practice. That's how people learn. A lot of people don't know how serious the thing is. They think the children we feed ain't really hungry. I don't know 5-year-old kids that can act well, but I know that if they not hungry, we sure got some actors. We got 5-year-old actors that could take the Academy Award. Last week, they had a whole week dedicated to the hungry in Chicago. Talking about the starvation rate here that went up 15% over here where everybody should be eating. Why? Because of capitalism. Yeah, I know, Jane, don't worry. What are we doing? The Breakfast for Children program. We are running it in a socialist manner. People came and took our program, saw it in a socialistic fashion, not even knowing it was socialism. People are going to take our program and tell us to go on to a higher level. They're gonna take that program and work it in a socialistic manner. What the pig say? He says, "You like communism? No, sir, I'm scared of it. You like socialism? No, sir, I'm scared of it. You like the Breakfast for Children program? Yes, sir, I'd die for it." Pig said, "That program is socialistic program. I don't give a fuck if it's communism. You put your hands on that program, motherfucker, and I'll blow your motherfucking brains out." Again, this is a wholesome Christian program that doesn't promote violence. But also, if you have to self-defense. And knew it. We've been educating him, not by reading matter, but throughout observation and participation, by letting him come in and work our program. Not theory and theory alone, but theory and practice. The two go together. We not only thought about the Marxist-Leninist theory, we put it into practice. This is what the Black Panther Party is about. Girl. It's like, you don't need that the people receiving the benefits of your direct action know the theory, but what you do need is that if you are going to start something and you are going to start something with other people, that first group of people know the theory, know the reasons why you're doing shit, and understand why the shit that you're doing matters and how the shit that you're doing is going to change the system, the material realities of people in the current, etc. This machine kills bigger attackers. Oh my god. Subversives. Some people talk a lot about communism, but the people can't understand and progress to the stage of communism right away or because of abstract arguments. They say you gotta crawl before you can walk. And the Black Panther Party, as the vanguard party, thought that the Breakfast for Children program was the best technique of crawling. Thank you, Sam. Of crawling at any vanguard party could follow. And we got a whole lot of folks that going to be walking. And then a whole lot of folks that's gonna be running. And when you got that, what you got? You got a whole lot of pigs that's gonna be running. That's what our program is about. The Black Panther Party is about the complete revolution. We're not gonna go out there and half do a thing. You, again, this is why you need fucking theory. Because without the theory, without an understanding, a full understanding of what you are doing, you won't know what you are doing. You won't know why you are doing it. And how what you are doing is just crawling. How or why what you are doing is just crawling in order for you to walk, in order for you to run, in order for you to fucking actually dismantle shit. And you can let pigs know it. They come here and hide. They so uncomfortable, they sitting on a tape recorder, they got their gun in their hair, got their hide. They gotta hide all this shit and they come here and do all this weird action. All they gotta do is come up to 2350 West Madison any day of the week, and anybody up there let them know, let that motherfucker know, yes, we subversive. Yes, we subversive with the bullshit we are confronted with today. Just as subversive as anybody can be subversive, and we think them motherfuckers is the criminals. They the ones always hiding. We the ones up in front. We're out in the open. These motherfuckers should start wearing uniforms. They want to know if the Panthers are going underground. These motherfuckers is underground. You can't find them. People call the pigs, but nobody knows where they at. They're out chasing us. They're hiding. Can't nobody even see them. When people got a problem, they come to the Black Panther Party for help, and that's good. Because, like Mao says, we are supposed to be ridden by the people. And Huey says we're going to be ridden down the path of social revolution, and that's for the people. The people ought to know that the Black Panther Party is 1000% for the people. They write a lot of articles, you know. These people will run up to you in a minute. When I say people, I mean white people and black people alike. People will run up to you and talk that shit about. Man, I read in the Tribune today. Well, you say, man, fuck it right there. If you didn't read it in the Black Panther paper, in the movement, then you ain't read shit. I don't know how to write. I don't know how to read around the N-word. So, just be patient with me. Mackie White. Sorry. I wish the new African Black Panther Party was as legit as the OG Black Panther Party. It's like when I learned that the Black Panther Party was like alive today. I was like, interesting. And then I immediately learned that they were bad, and I was like, interesting. And I still don't like. I still don't know how they expanded, like how they physically expanded, because like I can understand like how, for example, Huey and Bobby like started like a branch in California, I think, right? But I don't know how they were able to make that happen elsewhere. And that is what's like that is literally like the key of making a movement in specifically the US. I mean, anywhere to be fair, but more than like I say specifically the US because of the 50 state structure, but yeah. I mean, to be fair, I mean, it's weird because I was going to say there are actually only 48 states because Alaska and Hawaii shouldn't, but also none of the states should actually be part of the USA, Also, hi Nobody Young, welcome. Me, you can't roll credits on somebody else's stream. Johnny, hold my book. Oh my god. Hi Zach, welcome. Welcome Raiders. I'm Sebs. I'm a socialist, communist. I'm a Marxist Leninist. We're reading you can murder a liberator, but you cannot murder what? Yeah, you can murder a liberator, but you can murder liberation by Fred Hampton, because it's Black History Month. Whoop whoop. Even though we don't celebrate that here in Peru, it's okay because I will just use it as an excuse to talk about the Black Panthers for a month straight. So yeah. Also, thank you, Zach, for the raid. Welcome. Also, go follow Zach if you haven't. Thank you for the follows. And yeah, welcome. Mikey White. We in the Black Panther Party have another brother I want to take some time to rap about. This brother is constantly on our mind. This brother's name is Michael White. Mikey White. This brother is beautiful. He's been held now in jail for $100,000 bail. And $100,000 in 1969? How much would that be? Like 200, 300? Also, I'm just making shit up, but like inflation, like, I mean, 100,000 is already a lot, but the FBI closer to 1 million. Interesting. I was like, double the amount? No, that's too much. 10 times. Got it. Yeah, this was set in 69. Nice. But yeah. $100,000 bail. Some of you who listen to the radio might have heard about brothers in the state chapter. Our field secretary of defense, Captain Brother Nathaniel Jr. or Brother Merrill Harvey, being laid up on some phony gun charge. We don't say the Panthers don't want guns, but we already got guns, and we don't have to go and try and steal or connive to buy any guns from anybody. Interesting. 833,000. Oh, okay, got it. Thank you, Zach. Thank you, also Dolphin. You know, not quite 10 times, just 8.3 times. You know. Don't we love capitalism, folks? What they're trying to do is squash out the Black Panther Party. They're trying to squash out the leadership. Trying to squash out Bobby Rush, the Deputy Minister of Defense. Trying to squash out Chaka and Che, the Deputy Minister of Education. It is so interesting. I feel like people truly underestimate how complex structures for organizing and mobilizing, or rather organizing for mutual aid to this scale are. And this is why, especially in the US, I feel like it is necessary to understand not just movements around the world, but literally the structures of revolutionary power that already exist, and just the structures that existed within, for example, indigenous communities, right? Because when what's the name of the current Colombian president? I forgot. But when the new Colombian president came into power, Francia, who is the VP, was interviewed, and she was talking about how, like, Afro-Colombian communities had their own very sophisticated and developed structures for mobilizing, for organizing, for feeding the people, teaching the people, etc. And when you actually understand that these communities already exist, they just don't exist in a. Thank you, Pedro. Uh, Italian guy. Oh my god. When you understand that these structures already exist, but just in the lower scale out of survival, and because they literally don't allow them to expand further for any reasons, being resource, being the political power that attacks them, etc. Once people are able to grasp and understand the complexity of these organizations, people will then understand the true meaning of organizing and revolution, and why hierarchies are needed, and revolution. Important factor for organizing a large scale, which is something most leftists don't have, unfortunately. Yeah, I would say, like, yes and no, because it is true, we do need money, and this is why I am a huge advocate for having a lot of hackers in leftist movements. I would never suggest anyone to hack a bank, because that would be illegal. But, Stalin robbed banks, and the best way to rob a bank in 2023, you know what I mean? But, I would never advocate for such things, because those are illegal, bad things. But yeah, we need hackers. But for real though, we need hackers, especially in our current society. Like, for legal reasons, I'm just giving historical comments. Yeah, like, it is a historical fact that Stalin robbed banks, to get money. And you know, people need money also today. Like, sometimes you just need money, you know, and sometimes there are no other ways to get money, you know. Until telling Rob, yeah, sometimes I don't get recommend you do it yourself though. Yeah, I would never advocate for robbing banks, but if you happen to be a hacker or have a hacker friend and they happen to also be a leftist, you know, like, just saying. Revolution is when socialists on Twitch don't raid into lives. True! We're all desperate for money in late stage capitalism. And that is, yeah, you know, and it is, and I find it so very interesting how the US is just like so desperate not to give anything to people. Like anything. Like people literally be asking for the bare minimum of healthcare, and the US is like, nah. And it's like, historically, giving the people what they want when they are asking for the bare minimum has worked wonders for killing revolutionary struggle. But the US is just, I don't advocate for the usage of this word, but the US is literally just stupid. Like, girl, like, it pains me to say that, but all BLM protests would probably be cut in half if there was Medicare for all. I hope I could be wrong, but that is most probably the reality. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, look at the New Deal, and the New Deal literally only gave shit to white people. You know what I mean? Like, bare minimum in the most racist way, and people still had to shut up. You know, I mean, some people never shut up. You know, they were shut up by the FBI. You think the FBI was killing people only in the 60s? No, that's what they've always been doing. But yeah. There's a very few examples of revolutionary movements that don't have some sort of accumulation of capital to fund their activities. I can't recall off the top of my head if Cuba had any financial assistance beyond the support of the campesinos. I'm not sure, but also like there weren't many people. I mean, like there were a lot of people, but there weren't that many people in the revolution. And even then, like, you have Castro saying that if he could do the revolution again, he would just take even less people. So, you know, like, but also like there were different material conditions, like the contexts are different, you know what I mean? So yeah, you know, like I don't see a feasible way in our current context where you wouldn't need money, you know, like to some degree. Even the BPP FSD had their magazine newspapers that funded most of the what they did. Yeah, I'm going to say that it says Black Panther Party, something F, San Diego, if I'm not mistaken. But I would just assume that it's a branch of the Black Panther Party. So yeah. That's one of the few things that we have in our advantage in leftist movements in the first world countries. Other than that, the first world countries will be the last to have successful socialist revolutions. Yeah. Oh, self-defense. Got it. I was like, SD San Diego. But got it. Thank you. We were working like a century and a half worth of propaganda against anything remotely socialist. For real, like, and even then, not even like, I mean, like, can we talk for a second how anti-Russia propaganda never ended? Even a post-Soviet revolution, post fall of the Soviet Union, Russophobia is still going on. Like, there was a time where it, like, Islamophobia became like the main, and right now, well, and a couple of years ago, xenophobia was like the main thing, but still, like, Russophobia was still always there, lingering. But yeah, 10 years of Russia got good now. Yeah, and even then, even when people thought Russia good now, they still had like distaste for, like, the same distaste for Russian people that they had for any brown person. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, I mean, it's gonna be even more xenophobia in the coming weeks and months. Like, I mean, right now they are focusing more on Russia, right? Because of the special military operation. Uh, but yeah, the propaganda on against China is not stopping at all. They kept Russia the public enemy number 1 or 2. Yeah, literally, when it wasn't number 1, it was number 2. It was like, yeah, the what is it called? What do they call it in the US? How do I call it Western Asia so much that I already forgot what the US calls it. The Middle East. It was always it like for a time it was, yeah, the Middle East bad, but Russia bad also though. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, they're about to lean hard into anti-China. Is there something happening that I'm not like aware? I feel like I've been like kind of um detached from US propaganda for a while, just focusing on like either history or revolutionary struggles around the world. And even I've actually been like super, well, I've had to be super into like log my national news because there's like an almost revolution going on. It's not going to be a revolution. They're just asking for shit, like specific shit, but they are, coming here. Um, but I haven't kept up since coming back to Twitch. But yeah, it's been weird. Okay, but yeah, more news about American domestic policy from Marcus and than anything else. Yeah, but like, is there anything like especially happening on that top progressive Canadian parliament went out all anti-China? Interesting. Watch left flank bets. Interesting. The military industrial complex drives the economy. Yeah, that. Uh, like, have there been any like particularly new talking point against China recently, because like they like the last thing I knew is like because they cannot continue with the Uyghur genocide talking point because like the UN has released way too many reports basically saying, yeah, there's not really a genocide, you know? So I'm like, you know, are scared of Chinese interfering in the political process. Oh, it's more on Canada now. Got it. I mean, but that is just how history works. Like, if something happens in the US, it takes a few years for it to happen in Canada. And you might be like, but there's no Trump in Canada. I mean, isn't there? Isn't there? Would you really argue that? That, you know, your blackface president? Just kidding. A NATO general is saying that there will be war in China by 2025 or something like. Oh, interesting. Interesting. China talking point is they are doing Uyghur bad stuff, internment, and oppressing them. Interesting. God. The US? The US. The US be wildin'. The US is gonna focus on Taiwan. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because the Taiwan stuff hasn't ended. That is true. Secretary General, I don't know what the difference is. I mean, to be fair, at one point, at one point, it's like people in NATO. Yeah, they work for NATO. Who cares? The assistant of the general of NATO could be talking, and they're like, yeah, what she says is important. You know, like for fuck's sake, people literally interview people who used to be on these structures like they have any control of anything currently, and it's like they literally are not work. They are literally retired. The Recovered province is the mainland China. The West really want to divide China into spheres of influence again. Yeah, I mean, there's a B.A. Prashad interview in Breakthrough News, where he talks about that. How the US... Oh, it's this one. Yes. Wow, it's only been a month? No way. Oh, no, this one? Yes. It's this one, because it was pretty old. But in this interview, BA talks about how the US basically wants to divide China and Russia into like different states, the same way they basically did with Yugoslavia. I wouldn't say the same way they did with the USSR, because the USSR was already divided, but united, but divided. So, but yeah, good shit. It's going to be the calm before the storm that is 2020. Oh my god. Where is Santi? Oh my god. You know what's the worst part of the Santos being elected? I hope that I can eat my words, but I can fucking guarantee you that they are going to do the exact same shit that they did with Al Gore. And even though the Democrat is going to win by all the metrics, even with the fucking House of the electoral house, the electoral. You know what I mean? Like, even when a Democrat wins in every metric, they will fucking elect a Republican, and months later they will be like, "Oh yeah, the Democrats should have won, but the Republican is already president." So like, what can we do? And look, I I'm not an advocate of electoralism. Electoral college. Got it. Thank you, Sam. But at the same time, it's like when you understand what they did with Al Gore, it's like, do I like Al Gore currently? No, but also like that was just shitty. That was like so fucked up, But yeah, he'll ban HRT and a bunch of people will die and he'll start a war. I mean, to be fair, he won't start a war. A war will just happen to start when he is president because all the other presidents were already building onto that war to start. Do you know what I mean? Like, he'll put LGBT and homeless people in camps. Look, homeless people are already in camps. Just saying. You know how they fucking put them all together in like squares or like places where like guarded by police? Like, it's so fucked up. Oh, but yeah, and he'll start a war with Taiwan or something in Taiwan. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, if a war, like, let's take Taiwan. If a war in Taiwan happens while, let's say, DeSantis is president, it's not like DeSantis started the war. Like, the war started while he was in office. But you can trace back the future Taiwan war, like, since Biden, since Trump, since Obama. I mean, even like you can literally start with Obama. Like, even when he did the Chinese, the one China policy, was it him? I don't know history. Don't quote me on that. It probably wasn't him. It was probably older. I don't know. But like, even with the one, like, they're literally currently breaking the one China policy. Like, hello. Do you know what I mean? Like, but yeah. Nixon was one China. Thank you. See, Obama, Nixon, they are all the same president. It has become full scale at that point. Yeah. Yeah, because like currently, even though people, like most people, don't see that as they almost sorry, like a couple of days ago I saw a TikTok that was a compilation of all the, like, literally that all US presidents like walking funny, and I was like, I don't believe in anything, but like the devil is there, you know? For real. Oh yeah, I was going to say, I know, like, most people don't see like what is currently happening as like concentration camps or genocide or whatever, but like that is the reality that the US currently has, and I think it is better to just try to spread the awareness that the concentration camps already are in the US. Like, genocide is already happening in the US. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I don't know, but I feel like 95% of people in the US have no idea about the one China policy. I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, you know what? I'm going to be like very benevolent, and I'm going to say that probably only 80% of people don't know about the One China policy, but only 5% of that 20% that know that there is a One China policy actually know what the One China policy means. But yeah. But I really don't know how we'll get through this coming storm. I mean, you know, alive. Hopefully, fighting regardless, spreading awareness. Yeah. My age have heard of the term, but got it conflated with one child policy at some point. See? Sure, China one policy video if you're trying to get the history. Oh.
Taiwan was an undisputed
Wait, give me a second.
part of Chinese territory until Taiwan was an undisputed part of Chinese territory until the year 1895, when Japan seized the island through war. In December
Also, no.
1943, China, the United States, and Britain issued the Cairo Declaration, saying that Japan must return all the territories it had stolen, including northeast China, Taiwan, and the Penghu Archipelago.
Okay. Why is like the US and the UK telling Japan what to do? Like, I understand and I don't necessarily disagree what they are doing, but at the same time, like, why? Even experts, educational resources, media, and politicians still treat Taiwan as if it's its own country. Interesting. A couple of weeks ago, I was in an interview for a job, and it was like a group interview, and one of the people had studied in China for like 3 years, but he studied hospitality, but one of the years he had to go to Taiwan, and like randomly in the interview said something along the lines of like, and I studied in Taiwan, but Taiwan is not part of China, but Peru considers it a part of China. Like, literally, propaganda talking points out of nowhere, where, like, to the point where, like, the interviewee didn't know what he was talking about. And in my mind, I was like, oh my god, a fucking liberal. Ah. But, like, I don't, like, of course, I don't know what actually living in China is like. But I was kind of surprised that he lived in mainland China for 2 years, and he acted like,
They're fucking liberals, dude.
oh my
They're
god,
liberals.
yes. I, but like, he acted like Taiwan was a separate country, and like, I guess, I mean, there is probably people in mainland China who think Taiwan is its own country, but it was such a weird experience for me, being like the only one obviously aware of what he was talking about, but like, yeah. Oh, I was in an interview, in a group interview for a job, and a person had studied in China for 3 years, but one of those years he had to study in Taiwan, but he said that Taiwan was a different country, but yeah. Communism is slightly worse than fascism. That is true. Liberals for real though. Don't have to answer, but what kind of job? Just curious, no need to answer. Oh, I was it was for what is it? Attention service, not attention service. Like helping people through the phone, basically. Custom service. Yes, because I have experience on that. Isn't there a Chinese community in Lima? Yes. Actually, I'm not sure. Because I want to say yes because there is a Chinese. What is it called? Chinese city? Not Chinese city. Um, no. There is like Chinatown. Thank you. Yes, Chinatown. There's like Chinatown here, but there are also like there is a lot of Chinese diaspora here because there was a big migration like many years ago. Uh, but I'm not sure if like for example people in Chinatown are like have a community or they just all happen to be there. Do you know what I mean? And also like I've met a few like um Chinese not immigrants but like descendants from Chinese immigrants that like have no like connection to like for example Chinatown or like people there, and so the diaspora in Peru or at least in Lima is like from what I've experienced is not like very communal. There is not like a community for like for example the way the Japanese diaspora here has, because like it is wild. I feel like it's borderline racist, but it's not because it's literally true. But like if you meet a Nikkei person here in Lima, there is a 90% chance that they know another Nikkei person in Lima. Like the Japanese community in Lima is so like close, wild shit. Like in my university, when I went to university, I had two friends that were of Japanese descent, and they already knew each other, and they knew like people that they knew. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like they weren't in the same school or anything, but like like sometimes she would tell him like, "Oh, do you know this person?" Yes, and and I was like, how do you know each other? But yeah, there's like a tighter community in the Japanese diaspora here than in the Chinese diaspora, from what I've seen. You know, and I haven't seen anything, so I might be wrong, but yeah, I've seen a Chinese person in Lima before. Oh my god. Uh, Thank you so much for coming, Kay. Also follow Kay if you haven't already. Uh, but yeah. Uh, Oh, okay, I need to change. That could be a form of parenting, entertainment, or imperial Japan. This could be from escaping internment of or imperial Japan living. Not saying for sure why. Why do you suppose? I'm not. I'm not sure. I've actually never studied the Japanese immigration here, which I find kind of interesting. Like, why haven't I done that research? Because like there's literally like a huge Japanese community here. Also, hi Karen, welcome. Yes. I've seen the same here with Japanese friends. Yeah, like the Japanese diaspora is very like close in like within the countries that they are in. I don't know why that is. Like I mean I guess it's because like they feel like they have such a different culture from the countries that they go into, you know. But even then, like that is just a thing that happens when people immigrate, right? Um, so I don't know. I know there's a diaspora in Brazil. I mean, yeah, cause like, um, like I know there's a Korean diaspora in Argentina, for example. But I don't know if there's also like a Japanese one. Whatever. I'm getting too far off topic. Okay, let's finish with the China history, and then we can continue this. How did I get so far
They
away?
reaffirmed that demand in the Potsdam Proclamation in July 1945. On October 1, 1949, the People's Republic of China was founded. The Kuomintang retreated from the mainland to entrench in Taiwan in confrontation with the central government with the support of foreign forces. On January 5,
Dolphin. I won't talk about that just because I literally talk about that every other stream.
1950, U.S. President Truman issued a statement saying that the U.S. and other allied countries recognize China's exercise of sovereignty over Taiwan Island in the 4 years since 1945. However, after the start of the Korean War in June 1950 to isolate and contain China, the U.S. government sent troops to occupy Taiwan and claimed that the status of Taiwan has yet to be determined, and later lobbied for dual recognition by the international community of two Chinas. In October
Wait,
1971,
what?
the United Nations and later lobbied for dual recognition by the international community of two Chinas.
Interesting.
In October 1971, the United Nations General Assembly passed Resolution 2758, which restored the seat and all the lawful rights of the government of the PRC in the United Nations. In September 1972, China and Japan signed a joint statement announcing establishment of diplomatic relations. Japan recognized the government of the PRC as the only legitimate government of China. In December 1978, China and the U.S. issued the joint communique on the establishment of diplomatic relations, which said the U.S. recognizes the government of the People's Republic of China as the sole legal government of China, and acknowledges the Chinese position that there is but one China and Taiwan is a part of China.
Interesting.
181 countries have now established diplomatic
The Taiwan nerds don't even mention U.S. occupation in the 50s. Yeah.
relations with the PRC. All of them acknowledged the One China principle
Mao.
and promised to handle the relations with Taiwan within the One China framework.
No, that's it. Wow, they really just exploiting the time. Interesting. I don't know why I thought the one China policies was like uh recent. Uh but yeah. I don't have top she emote. I have another one though. I have hyper she. And I don't have a dang emote. I need a dang emote. Whatever. I'm getting distracted. There were other joint communiques in the US reaffirming the one child policy, I believe. Interesting. I remember when I was studying in high school, the Cold War, we would talk about so many communiques, and I was like, teacher, I literally don't know. It's technically pronounced dong, actually, not dung. So maybe you should learn Mandarin. And no, I wasn't going to say Chinese because Chinese is not a language actually. Also, Spanish is not a language actually. I need to stop. But yeah, Spanish is not a language. We actually speak Castellano because in Spain they speak multiple languages. Um, yeah, I don't know how to say Castellano in English. Castilian, I guess. But yeah, okay. Mikey White. Uh, Also, hi March. I didn't greet you earlier, and I didn't greet was Karen here? Orbist. Hi Orbist. I know you are um lurking. White Mikey. We in the Black Panther Party have a brother I want to take. We don't speak that shit in Chile. Oh my god. Look, Chilean is its own language, okay? We in the Black Panther Party have another brother I want to take some time to rap about. This brother is constantly on our mind. This brother's name is Michael White. Mikey White. This brother is beautiful. He's being held now in jail for $100,000 bail. Some of you who listen to the radio might have heard about the brothers in the state chapter, our field Secretary of Defense Captain Brother Nathaniel Jr. and Brother Merrill Harvey being laid up on some phony gun charges. We don't say Panthers don't want guns. We already got guns. We don't have to go and try and steal or connive to buy or any guns from anybody. What they are trying to do is squash out the Black Panther Party. They're trying to squash out the leadership, trying to squash out Bobby Rush, the Deputy Minister of Defense, trying to squash out Chaka and Che, the Deputy Minister of Education. I was meant to dive deeper. I only read the Huey P. Newton Reader and the Assassination of Fred Hampton. Interesting. I mean, yeah, like, I mean, we can always be reading so much more, right? But this is why you're here to learn more. Mikey White wasn't that bullshit with the Nathaniel Jr. and Merrill Harvey. Last week, when they went to court, even the judge in court said, "You're gonna get fair trial whether you deserve it or not." What? You all going to get a fair trial whether you deserve it or not. These are the types of actions we are confronted with. Michael White is in solidarity confinement and doesn't get to come out of his cell for anything at any time, and he might be in cell for the rest of his life. His bond is $100,000. That's $10,000 cash. Holy shit. Mikey White is a proven revolutionary. He's not nobody we think is going to be a revolutionary. He's not nobody we trying to make a revolutionary. He's a proven revolutionary. All of you have to understand that Mikey White is a panther in ideology. He's a panther in word and he's a panther in deed. He's a panther that understands its class, that understands it's a class struggle, not a race question. You have to understand the pressures of Black Panther Party goes through saying this. You can see the pressures the Black Panther Party goes through by making a coalition with whites. When the Black Panther Party stood up and said, we're not going to fight racism with racism, US said, no, we can't do that because it's a race question. And if you make it a class question, then the revolution might come sooner. We in the US ain't prepared for no revolution because we think the power grows from the sleeve of a dashiki. What is a dashiki? It's not a slur, right? Oh, got it. They are armed with rhetoric and rhetoric alone. We found that when you're armed with rhetoric and rhetoric alone, a lot of times you get yourself hurt. Nice to know now. Eldridge Cleaver told them, even though you say you fight fire with fire best, we think you fight fire with water. True. True. You can do either one, but we choose to fight with water. He said we're not going to fight racism with racism. We're going to fight racism with solidarity. Even though you think you ought to fight capitalism with black capitalism, we're going to fight capitalism with socialism. Because that's the only thing you can fight capitalism with. We got a lot of people being busted and you don't even know about all these people. There's one here you definitely have to know about, and that's our Deputy Minister of Defense, Bobby Rush. Our Deputy Minister, Bobby Rush, was busted on some bullshit with a gun thing. He's got 3 gun charges. He's been convicted of one with 6 months lead. He's out on appeal now. I know a lot of you people say, well, goddamn, you got Mikey White Defense Fund, an Eldridge Cleaver Defense Fund, a Merrill Harvey Defense Fund, a Nathaniel Jr. Defense Fund, a Huey Newton Defense Fund, a Fred Hampton, Jewel, Che, and Chaka Defense Fund. And I just can't keep up with all these defense funds. But since we're a Vanguard party, we try to do things right. So we got one defense fund so you don't get mixed up on what name to send it to. We'll decide who it goes to. You can just send it to Political Defense Fund, 2350 West Madison. If you want to send something to Breakfast for Children, you can send it to 2350 West Madison also. And you can earmark that money to go to the Breakfast for Children program. We got Mikey on our mind tonight. And everybody knows we got Huey P. Newton on our mind tonight. We got every political prisoner in jail on our mind tonight. Eldridge Cleaver, all these people either dead or in exile or in jail. A lot of people understanding this will lose real faith in the Vanguard, but not by not understanding what we're talking about. Sorry, I don't know why I got emotional. A lot of these people will go up. A lot of these people will go up to you in a minute and say, why all these people being taken? Why haven't they shot it out with some pigs? Well, what do we say? If you kill a few, you get a little satisfaction. But if you can kill them all, you get complete satisfaction. That's why we haven't moved. We have to organize the people. We have to educate the people. We have to arm the people. We have to teach them about revolutionary political power. And when they understand all that, we won't be killing no few and getting no little satisfaction. We'll be killing them all and getting complete satisfaction. How not to endorse all of this in the current political climate? And not even just that, how not to endorse this, just understanding that the police structure is not only one working for the bourgeoisie and the bourgeoisie alone, but is one that is just rooted in genocide and murder. And keeps that history alive to this day. Go with the people. So, what should we do if we're the vanguard? What is it right to do? Is it right for the leadership of that struggle to go faster than the followers of that struggle can go? No. We're not going to be dealing in commandism. We're not going to be dealing in no-tailism. We say that just as fast as the people can possibly go, that's just as fast as we can take it. While we take it, we must be sure that we are not missing the people in the valley. In the valley, we know we can learn to understand the life of the people. We know that with all the bullshit out there, you can come to consider yourself on the mountaintop. I may even consider myself one day on the mountaintop. I may have already. But I know that in the valley, there are people like Benny, and there are people like me, people like Mikey White, and people like Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale. And that below the valley are the people like Bobby Hutton, people like Eldridge Cleaver. We know that going into the valley is a dangerous thing. We know that when you go out in the valley, you got to make a commitment. A lot of people think the revolution is bullshit, but it's not. A lot of us think that when you get in the revolution, you can talk your way out of things, but that's not true. Ask Bobby Hutton, ask Huey Newton, ask Eldridge Cleaver, Mikey White, and Dennis Mora. Ask these people whether it's a game. If you get yourself involved in the revolutionary struggle, then you've got to be serious. You gotta know what you're doing. You gotta to already have practiced some type of theory. That's the reason we ask people to follow the leadership of the Vanguard Party. Because we all theorizing and we all practicing. We make mistakes, but we're always correcting them and we're always getting better. We used to run around yelling about Panzer power, the Panzers run it. We admit we made mistakes. Our 10-point program is in the midst of being changed right now, because we use the word white when we should have used the word capitalist. When we were the first to admit our mistakes. We no longer say Panzer power because we don't believe in Panzers should have all the power. We are not for the dictatorship of the Panzers. We are not for the dictatorship of black people. We are for the dictatorship of the people. The difference between the people and the vanguard is very important. You got to understand that the people follow the vanguard. You got to understand that the Black Panther Party is the vanguard. If you are about going to the people, you got to understand that the vanguard leads the people. After the social revolution, the Vanguard Party, through our educational programs, and that program is overwhelming, the people are educated to the point that they can run things themselves. That's what you call educating the people, organizing the people, arming the people, bringing them revolutionary political power. That means people's power. That means the People's Revolution. And if you are not about being involved in the People's Revolution, then you gotta do something. You gotta support the People's Revolution. Complete satisfaction. The Black Panther Party is the Vanguard Party. You better get on the Black Panther Party. If you can't get on, god damn it, you better get behind. If you can get behind, god damn it, you better get behind somebody else so you'll at least be able to follow indirectly. Motherfucker. We ain't asking you to go out and ask no pigs to leave us alone. We know that pigs fuck with us because they know we're doing something. Because a lot of dudes walk around and write articles about it. I know some revolutionary groups say these people are running around saying these things. The PL motherfuckers talking about that bullshit, couldn't even find things to criticize. They was so far in the ground. They was so far in the ground. What was they doing? Organizing ground dogs, educating groundhogs, arming groundhogs, and teaching groundhogs revolutionary political power. I say that we're the first group to come above ground, where the people can follow you and see you. And if you make a mistake, it's better than not even being at all. It's better than not even being at all. When I made that mistake, I made it for the people. I corrected for the people. You don't hear there was a raid on PL's office last night. You ain't never heard of that. When you hear of PL busted in New York, PL's leader in jail with no bars, PL leader ran out of the country, PL leader shot 18 times while he was running with his back turned and hands tied up, PL leaders get breakfast for children for 1,800 people a week. You ever heard it? You never heard it. I want to hear it. If you do hear it, it'll be because of the Black Panther Party, of the Black Panther lead. I'm not putting all these things out and saying PL doesn't know them. But I'm saying that when people write something like this, a lot of people don't understand it. I wanted to take the time to explain it. There are some things that the PL says that are valid. Don't misunderstand me. We don't get mad because in some way or another PL is trying to better the Black Panther Party by trying to criticize it. But I just want to let you know, ain't nothing all right, ain't nothing all wrong. We're not all right, so we're trying to get that way. We make mistakes, but we understand that we're gonna make some more mistakes. And we're gonna try and correct these mistakes, and we're gonna try and keep on moving. So what do we say? Don't get the pigs off of us, because we can't stand them. Because we can't stand them. We jail Mikey White. We should let him murder Bobby Hutton. We should let them run Eldridge Cleaver out of the country. Why? Because you can jail a revolutionary, but you can't jail revolution. You can run a freedom fighter around the country, but you can't run freedom fighting around the country. You can murder a liberator, but you can't murder liberation. Kill a few and get a little satisfaction. Kill some more and you'll get more satisfaction. Kill them all and you'll get complete satisfaction. We say all power to the people, black power to black people, and brown power to brown people, red power to red people, and yellow power to yellow people. We say white power to white people even. And we say Panther power to the Vanguard Party, and we don't kill a few and don't kill some more. As a matter of fact, we'd rather you didn't move until we see we're ready to move. And when you see we're ready to move, you know we're not dealing with a few, not dealing with some more. You know when we get ready to move, we're dealing with from complete. That's what we're after. Total, everything, everybody, complete satisfaction. Power to the people. Okay, PL is Progressive Labor, a group of radicals who split off from the Communist Party. Got it. Bruh. This is literally like reading Mao. Like, hi Dorian, hi Surfer, welcome. Okay. The revolution that feeds the children gets my support. In the US, actually assign lunch debt. You cannot graduate if that debt gets unpaid. Like you have to qualify to reduce and free lunch programs. For reduced and free lunch programs, they ate that. God. Oh, it's been 2 hours. Because there was another one that I wanted to read. But I'm not sure. We have just finished reading, as the title said, as the title says, you can murder a liberator, but you cannot murder liberation. I'm not sure if this was one speech or a series of speeches that he gave. Oh no, it was one speech. Got it. But I have no comment. Like, I have. Like, I can. It's like, I want to cry because you cannot help people underground, right? Like, if you want to help people, you gotta be out there. But also, being out there is going to get you killed. And it's like, this is why you gotta do it for the people, right? Like, it truly has to get to a point where you don't care that you might probably get fucking killed. Because, I mean, you are not supposed to do it for yourself, right? I mean, no one wants to die, but having that understanding that helping people is more important than anything else is something that I see lacking in a lot of spaces. And this is why when people say sometimes I'm not a communist, I'm a socialist, rubs me the wrong way. Because, like, we are all fucking aware communism is not going to happen in our lifetimes. But that shouldn't matter to you. Like, it shouldn't matter that communism is not going to happen in your lifetime. What should matter is that you are fighting to make that happen. Like, if you work for social, like, let's say, if you work for socialism, to put it in simple terms, you're only going to get to socialism. But if you are fighting for communism, you are going to get to communism. I mean, this is without even mentioning that like, where is the fucking international solidarity? Right? Like, and even me mentioning where's the international solidarity feels kind of overwhelming because there are so many people in the US who don't even have solidarity within, like, within themselves, with comrades that are literally in the same states, in the same country, right? Like, you have mainly white, you have people that don't even have solidarity with indigenous folk, with black folk, with women, with um, LGBTQIA plus minorities. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, of course, these motherfuckers are not able to comprehend the world scale struggle that exists if they cannot even comprehend the struggles that exist within their country, let alone within their state or within their own community. Like, there will always be anti-revolutionary forces, and it's a struggle that will never end. And even if China achieves utopian communism, the West will always try their best to sabotage it. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like, we we need to be aware. Like, this is why. Okay, this is why I preach theory, and people understand theory, because if you don't get contradiction, you will keep asking yourself bogus shit, right? Like, you know how people say, like, oh, we shouldn't say that because then libs will get mad or reactionaries will take that, like, always catering to reactionary forces. And that's the same shit. Like, oh, we cannot do a revolution because there will always be anti-revolutionary forces. And it's like, yeah, and we have to embrace that knowledge, embrace that we are aware of that, and say, fuck that, we're going to work to prevent that, to defend ourselves. We are going to work knowing that, and we're still going to keep fighting. Because when you understand contradiction, you understand that the world is full of it. And you work your way towards reducing that contradiction, and someday that contradiction will end, and that day is when you reach communism. Like, it's like, if you understand communism, you should be able to understand how incredibly long the path to communism will be. You know? And if I or anyone watching or anyone in general can like put a little stone um in the project of building communism, like sometimes that's good enough. Do you know what I mean? Like, feeding children, creating hospitals, in the grand scheme of things, it's a little rock. But regardless, it is something. And I see, again, so many people, especially in the US, especially white folk, that because they're so invested in trying to build the house, to build the castle, they don't even want to put one stone. And sometimes it's even worse because that fear makes them want to like destroy all the all the effort and all the building that has already been achieved. Like when current like the when people currently shit on the Marxist Leninist struggle around the world, in the US, etc., those motherfuckers are destroying like the history of revolutionaries that have given all of themselves for the people. Like every time you see a motherfucker like shitting on tankies, those motherfuckers are literally shitting on the breakfast for children programs, are shitting on the Russian Revolution, on the Chinese Revolution, on the Vietnamese Revolution, on the Cuban Revolution, on Burkina Faso, on Laos. They're shitting on like Chinese people having better living standards. They're shitting on Cuba having the same exact life expectancy as in the US. You know what I mean? Like, they're shitting on Venezuela, like trying to survive while not being under the imperialist thumb. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is, and don't get me wrong, I understand and I am completely aware that these people who shit on Marxism, Leninism in general are not aware that their criticism is very charged with racism and xenophobia, because ultimately it is. And I am aware that they are not aware and they don't know what they are saying and they're just fed with propaganda. But that doesn't mean that I won't talk about it and I won't acknowledge and point out that those criticisms, which are not criticisms, they are just shitting on a certain ideology because of their ignorant beliefs, I am still going to point out that those criticisms are charged with racism, xenophobia, and propaganda. You know? And for example, I can still acknowledge that even some what is it called? Not adventurous, but some opportunists in our movement or that align with our ideology or whatever will take that in order to avoid criticism where criticism is due, right? But this is why you purge people from parties. This is why you go back to your roots, go back to the reading as Mao did when when the Communist Party of China was being funded. Like, you go back to the books, you go back to the theory, analyze again, debate within your party, discuss, and reach a conclusion, right? Like, and this is again why you need a vanguard, because those discussions, those conversations have to happen within, you know, a certain boundary. But yeah, okay. My question would be, what do you do about anti-revolutionary forces within the revolutionary supposedly group? Purge. You purge them. You say, hey, you can either work on that or get the fuck out, you know? If they don't want to work on that and don't want to get the fuck out, you kick them. You know? Uh, and that's another thing, right? Uh like it is very easy to tell if people are there in are engaging or are there in good faith or in bad faith, right? um i am I am someone who, when you are one to one with people, proposes to be good faith and take them at good faith until they prove to you otherwise. um but yeah, how can you push back if they can't push back? Then you just have to realize they are just not ready to have that conversation. You know, they're just not in it um yet. What do we do with under-revolutionary forces massively outnumber us? I mean, that is not even that shouldn't even be a that shouldn't even be a problem. Like, anti-revolutionary forces will outnumber you. Well, I guess it is complicated because even then, like, in this, like, it's not a dichotomy, but like in this context, there is not just revolutionary and anti-revolutionary. You have also non-revolutionary forces, and even though a lot of this is interesting. Even though a lot of people in the U.S. are fed with propaganda, just because they are fed with propaganda doesn't mean that they are like against revolution. And this is an interesting, like, thought experiment, I guess, because most people in the US don't vote, yet in the media people are still being painted as either Democrat or Republican. And it's like, okay, where's the rest of the people? You know? Like, for example, you have a lot of um, big streamers, so-called leftists, that are more worried about getting Republicans to vote Democrat or Democrats to go well, not even Democrats to go full commie, but like they are more worried about Republicans catering to Republicans and reactionaries than they are worried about, catering to the average person who is actually not committed to any party. You know what I mean? Like, it's like a lot of. I wouldn't say there is a lot of analysis to be had, but there is a lot of question. There are a lot of questions that should be raised that people have already reasoned them. Like, I am not the first one to be like, why are you catering to reactionaries when you should cater to other work, like the vast majority of the working class who doesn't vote, Uh, but it's through that questioning realizing, there's some things that are not right, and there are some things that are worth engaging with, and there are other things that are not worth engaging with. And if you are able to come back, good. And if you don't want to, that's fair. You will have your reasons, Uh, as I said, like we live in contradiction, in constant contradiction, and you deal with them as they come along, as Dong did when he was chairman of the Communist Party of China. I guess you don't want to kind of small, infinitesimal ways to get to communism. I mean, yeah, like, for example, people think, uh, people think the Russian Revolution started in 1917. The Russian Revolution started way before that. The Russian Revolution literally started the century before that. And I'm not even just talking about like the Bolshevik Party existing or like Marxist organizations existing. I'm talking about all the protests that existed. Not even the protests, but all the questioning from the peasant and working class that existed across Russia, questioning the existence of the Tsar, right? The Tsarist system. Like, it started with people being aware that, you know what, the Tsar kind of shit, you know? In the same way the Chinese Revolution, like, it didn't start in 1959. Like, the Communist Party of China started in 1921, and even then, the people who formed the Communist Party of China didn't become revolutionaries in 1921. Like, they were reading before that, they were like radicalized before that, and in 1921 people reunited. People realized, hey, I'm not the only one. They talked together, they formed connections, and the Communist Party started. Like, revolutionary optimism, like Kwame Ture said, everything changes all the time. So it looks daunting now, but it may look to be not to be so in the future. Hopefully sooner than later. Yeah, like for example, starting a food program, feeding a food for children program, for example, like that might not seem like communism, and it's technically not communism. It's socialistic at best, if you will. But at the end of the day, does that matter? Does that matter what label it has, when at the end of the day it is a start to reach communism, to reach bettering the people's material conditions, which is inevitably inherently communistic, socialistic in nature. Do you know what I mean? Like you start with something and then you see it, you make it grow and then you expand and you continue that until the FBI kills you. But you know what I mean? Honestly, my biggest concern is the human race becoming extinct before we possibly can build communism, and that is fair. And I never have a comeback to that. But also, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't try because there is literally no other option. Like, it's not even about communism. Like, at that point, it's not even about reaching communism, it's reaching any stage of power where you can organize to actually be able to make a significant change. Do you know what I mean? And like, look, the only way I can keep optimism with climate change is looking at China and Vietnam and Japan sometimes, even though they are not like necessarily overtly working towards it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm sorry, I cannot give you more. um, it had better be sooner, otherwise we may not have a chance. When we lost the constitutional plebiscite, the Sogdams through a feed, and for months, some until now, uh, they reacted to any example of shit like police brutality and abuse. Like y'all should have voted different, and it's like, bro, my my expectations, motherfuckers, have no view of why they fight. Literally, like, oh my god. And for example, I think LFNF is in a FLFNF is in a position that is way more frustrating than the US, for example, because like he literally has like be it a Sogden president, a communist party backed president, if that is anything, right? And like he's like almost to the point of like being able to achieve some sort of actual progress, but all the forces that are already in power are just like trying to avoid it, try to no stop, doesn't happen, and that is like, oh my god. And I know that some people in the US think that they are in the same position because they think, oh my god, Bernie, oh my god, AOC, but it's literally not. It's completely different. Like Chile has a communist party that actually works. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Well, works. Explain that history. Also, I'm sorry, I'm a bit like behind in chat, but the rest of what did I say? The House of Representatives has introduced a resolution to denounce the horrors of socialism today. Listing countries where the US is itself responsible for several million civilian deaths. The resolution to denounce the horrors of socialism just passed with 109 Democratic votes. I mean, are we surprised? No. Like, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like, yeah, yeah. uh, the libs in the US throw that out constantly. Those people always either one liberal sanctums or two State Department anarchists. 100 years of anti-communist propaganda is a hell of a drug. It fucking is. What do you do? Purge them. Look, like, for real though, like, this is why I always go back to on practice or on contradiction. Was it on contradiction? I think it was on contradiction. Yeah. Here. This is why yo motherfuckers, and by yo I mean the ones who haven't, need to read Mao. Like, if you're not into theory, I get it, whatever, I don't care. You have to read Mao. Like, not even all Mao, read on practice and on contradiction. That's all I ask from people. 2 pamphlets. You don't want to read Marx, you don't want to read Engels, you don't want to read Lenin, Stalin, Ho Chi Minh, Sankara. I don't know why you wouldn't read Sankara. That feels a little racist. You don't want to read anyone? Sure, whatever. Read on practice and on contradiction. I beg you. In China, in 1927, the defeat of the proletariat by the big bourgeoisie came about through the opportunism then to be found within the Chinese proletariat itself, inside the Chinese Communist Party. When we liquidated this opportunism, the Chinese Revolution resumed its advance. Later, the Chinese Revolution again suffered severe stepbacks at the hands of the enemy, because adventurism had risen within the party. When we liquidated this adventurism, our cause advanced once again. Thus, it can be seen that to lead the revolution to victory, a political party must depend on the correctness of its own political line and the solidarity of its own organization. Like, if you don't have shit clear after reading this, I don't know, like, there is no saving you. You know what I mean? So, like, when the contradiction begins, at least you can say that it's fermented. Literally, though. Literally. This is why... This is why... this is why Asians have... they have revolutions and not Europeans. Those days are when the revolution became successful. Speaking of counter-revolutionary force, check this out, revolution. Oh yeah, I already read it, sorry. I was just... Hi, Ojada. Sorry I didn't greet you when you came in. I was like behind, but I hope you're still here. And hi. Don't care about the label. Yeah, imagine. Hot take. Feeding children is good. Apparently, hot take, no. It's literally just 3 pages of McCarthy's propaganda. Oh my god. They voted that not a goal of the USA but should be spread. A goal of the US to spread democracy and voted NATO from doing it. Vetoed NATO from doing it. What? And it was just something on paper that didn't mean anything, so that shows that they care what they care about, making sure people don't have any power. Oh my god. There can be no revolutionary movement. No political education, only politically uneducated action. Combat liberalism too. Oh my god. Okay, combat liberalism is not for beginners. Like, when we read that, we've read combat liberalism twice in this stream. I got called out. Many chatters got called out. I also called out other streamers. That's fun. We love the drama. But like, if you're just starting your revolutionary journey. Reading combat liberalism will be like a punch in the gut. So maybe wait. But yeah, I mean, combat liberalism is truly like it's so short, but but you have to already you have to understand that purging is not murder. Basically, to understand combat liberalism. If anyone wants to read does want to read some theory, I have a good reading list I can link. We have I think library. Yeah, we have a command here that is a library with um a lot of PDFs and shit. And also in the Discord we have the only good thing that Trot did. uh, and we also have in the Discord a text channel that is called resources, basically, and people just dump different stuff there. They dump articles, or I dumped a YouTube, like a list of YouTube channels there once. There are videos there, but yeah, like either from theory or just like there are podcasts. But yeah, infographics. Oh my god, I love Wing. What's this? The true size of Africa. We were talking about maps one day. It's okay, but yeah, Chimera Machina, welcome. Also, thank you for the follow. I just grabbed looking at the PDF archive. Yeah, I mean, you know, and that shit we had since the beginning of the stream, like, um, and I wasn't even that radical at the beginning, but I knew that theory is a huge part of leftism. It shouldn't be the only thing. I hate that I have to clarify that because then people will be like, "Oh, you're just a theory nerd. You don't care about doing shit." And I've done shit. Just saying, but yeah. I was a reader, but somehow forgot everything and even how to read. My brain can't handle much more than Twitch chat. Like, even reading fiction for kids is hard for me. Oh my god. And this makes me very sad. Wow. I mean, the a way I got into reading was literally Mao. This is literally me unapologetically just promoting Mao to everyone. But like, reading on contradiction was so easy, it made me want to read more. To be fair, I'm also the philosophy nerd, and I can acknowledge the masturbatory nature of that philosophy has to certain degrees. But when you're reading Mao, though, girl, you know, beginner's list. I'm going through it, and this is very nice. Ooh, there's another. Oh my god, welcome back, Tony. So like, my friend Assure Scapegoat has a website called Socialism 101. I don't know. I think that's the name of the website. Yes, and here Assure has. Well, it wasn't only Assure, but Assure made a list of introductory texts about certain topics. Um, I don't necessarily agree. I mean, I don't disagree. To be fair, I don't disagree with these picks, but that's another resource if you ever want one. And another good reading list is one Hakim books. The only leftist reading list that you'll ever need, like. Look, Hakim has never had a wrong take. Is this a link?
Hi there.
Yes. Okay. Now you know. So yeah. But also like, okay. Like don't get just in your theory shit, right? Like it is important to form community. I'm sorry for all the asocial anxiety havers. But like, have you read Mariatti? Yes. Well, I have started reading Siete ensayos sobre la realidad peruana, but I haven't finished it, so I'm not sure. Oh my god, hi Matt, welcome. Yeah, I have started reading Mariatti, like his magnum opus, but I haven't finished it, so I need to restart it. But yeah. Taking notes doesn't help, but luckily there are people who can explain stuff in an easy way, and many things books are easy to see when you look around late stage capitalism. You don't have to predict anything that stuff is bad. Yeah, him too, but I need to read Recabarren first. Oh my god, I even get started. Like there, and then like y'all motherfuckers in the U.S. have it easy. Well, I don't think you have it easier because there are obviously U.S. revolutionaries, like even Parenti, right? But like I don't. I feel I basically feel pressure that I have to read like U.S. revolutionaries and Latin American revolutionaries, and some of y'all might be like, "Oh, just Castro," and it's like, no, bitch. Like, there are revolutionary thinkers that predate Marx. Well, I think predate Lenin. It was they were contemporaries with Marx, or at least a bit after Marx, but before Lenin. And there are those revolutionaries, those types of revolutionaries in Latin America, like from Peru, from Argentina, from Brazil, from Central America. So like if you have 3 books in your list, I have 4. So yeah, yeah. What's his name? What's his name? Come on, I can do it. Maduro. Does Maduro have theory? I don't like. I don't know. I have never thought about like. Does Maduro have books? I want to read him too, but I need to. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. I will shield, and I will just say that I've been streaming for 2 hours and a half reading revolutionary stuff, giving you vibes. So if you want to support this stream or me or my revolutionary endeavors, subscribe or give the sub or cheer with bits or donate. Thank you. Yes. I will show nipple. Look at it. I am selling myself for money. Give me your money. Yes. Okay. Too much. This is TOS now. Maduro theory. Oh yeah. I mean, they got speeches. Yes. I don't know why I think only of books when we have literally been reading a speech.
Vamos a terminar con una canción.
Okay, but most people don't understand.
De rap de una trabajadora.
Me being like, oh yeah, captions, Spanish captions. English.
Isidor.
We're going to end with a rap song by a worker from Sidor, a femme worker.
No, de Corpivenza.
Oh, the Corpivenza.
Cantante de rap.
She's a rapper.
El nombre de María Machado, la buena. María Machado. Y con ella, con su espíritu, con su alegría, con su juventud,
Oh
le quiero
shit.
dar las gracias a Venezuela entera. Hemos lanzado el plan de aceleración del motor número 15. Que
Damn.
viva la clase obrera venezolana.
Así mismo, así
Que
mismo.
viva las empresas básicas y socialistas. Hasta la victoria siempre. María Machado.
¿Dónde esa gente? Te diré qué hago yo pesco, yo siembro y cosecho en revolución. ¿Qué estás haciendo tú? Te diré qué hago yo pesco, yo siembro y cosecho en revolución. Mi pueblo ya no quiere más engaños porque se cansó de las promesas sin cumplir. No es suficiente llamarse revolucionario y luego hacerse loco mientras nos hacen...
Damn.
Una guerrilla productiva, por eso yo te invito a trabajar por una causa. En todo camino siempre existe una salida, pero no olvides nunca porque es que las cosas pasan. Me dieron un golpe justo aquí en esta barriga, pero ellos olvidaron que mi cerebro está arriba. Hacen lo posible para que no haya comida, por eso yo propongo la guerrilla productiva. Yo no le haré campaña a ningún falso profeta.
Girl.
Socialistas que vendieron su conciencia, le voy a hacer campaña al pueblo que viene.
Girl. It's kind of low.
Con latas de sardina dignificamos un pueblo. Y hace 40 años esto era tan solo un sueño. Desde muy temprano la naturaleza da. Y gracias a la pesca abunda la felicidad. ¿Qué estás haciendo tú? Te diré qué hago yo. Yo pesco, yo siembro y cosecho en revolución. ¿Qué estás haciendo
Not
tú?
him
Te diré
clapping.
qué hago
Oh my
yo.
god.
Yo pesco, yo siembro y
He
cosecho en
is tall.
revolución. Oye, Ramos Alú, ¿cuáles son tus propuestas? Pues hablas muy bonito, pero eso papá ni cuenta. Ni hablar de la tintoria, esa es la más desubicada. No ha hecho la primera cola y habla tan desesperada. Por culpa de Leopoldo muchos amigos han matado. Y recuerdo esto para los que ya lo han olvidado. Incitaste a la violencia, sembraste necesidad. Guarimba tras guarimba, eso es lo que tú nos das. ¿Qué estás haciendo tú? Te diré qué hago yo. Yo pesco, yo siembro y cosecho en revolución. ¿Qué estás haciendo tú? Te diré qué hago yo. Yo pesco, yo siembro y cosecho en revolución. Apostamos al trabajo, somos los campesinos.
So
somos
cute.
los obreros, somos el buen destino. Somos la sonrisa, somos pobres pero honrados. Somos los de Maduro, hijos de Chávez, los restiados. Aquí no existe el miedo, aquí solo hay soluciones. Aquí cuando hay problemas activamos los motores. Pescamos, cosechamos, enlatamos, alimentamos. Mi nombre es La Gaviota y de aquí no nos vamos. Fábrica socialista, hecha en revolución. Chávez me abrió los ojos, Chávez desde mi corazón. ¿Qué estás haciendo
Okay.
tú? Te diré qué hago yo. Yo pesco, yo siembro y cosecho en revolución. ¿Qué estás haciendo tú? Te diré qué hago yo. Yo pesco, yo siembro y cosecho en revolución. ¿Qué estás haciendo tú? Te diré qué hago
Bye
yo.
everyone. Thank you so much for coming. I'll try to stream tomorrow, but I cannot guarantee anything.
¿Y cosecho?
En revolución.
Así mismo fue el presidente Maduro cantando rap también. Aquí hay música llanera, hay mucho talento en Venezuela, ¿ok? Claro
Also
que
join
sí.
the Discord,
Bienvenido, presidente. Soy de Caracas, la
because
parroquia
I
La
don't
Vega.
have a
Un saludo a mi gente
schedule.
del Callejón 19 de Abril, a la gente de Corpivense, Scarlett, Alvarino, a todo el equipo de la OSI de comunicación. Los amo, muchísimas gracias y gracias al señor Juan Arias por darme esta oportunidad.
Hasta
Gracias.
la victoria.
Siempre viviremos y venceremos. Así mismo, presidente.
¡Viva la patria!
Okay, don't see my recommendations. Okay, thank you so much for coming, everyone. Thank you, Zach, again for the raid. Thank you for the follows, everyone. I'll see you when I see you. Bye.